only a few days after the news that Democratic incumbent Senator Gary Peters would not be running for re-election in the state of Michigan, Representative Mike Rogers, or former Representative Mike Rogers, who ran for Senate as a Republican in 2024 in the state of Michigan, who came just 20,000 votes shy of winning the Senate race, is reportedly considering running for Senate again in 2026. Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going over the news that former Republican Mike Rogers is seriously considering running for this now open Michigan Senate seat. Former Michigan Rep. Mike Rogers is strongly considering a run for the U.S. Senate. Rogers will be running to fill the seat that will be left vacant by Senator Gary Peters, a Democrat from Michigan, whose term will end in January 2027. Rogers released a statement on the possible senatorial bid on his X account on Thursday. The former GOP lawmaker highlighted his relationship with President Donald Trump and the support he has received from Michiganders. "I've spent the last 2 years traveling across Michigan with the support of President Trump and millions of voters," Rogers wrote on X. "What I learned more than anything is that hardworking Michiganders deserve strong and honest representation that will have President Trump's back." And I do have the full statement loaded up on another slide that I can read after this as well, just to give you exactly word for word what he said. Rogers is a one-time FBI special agent who later served as the chair of the House Intelligence Committee during his tenure in Congress. A one-time GOP critic of Trump who mulled a White House run of his own in 2024, Rogers became a strong supporter of the then Republican presidential nominee and won his endorsement. In 2024, Rogers ran for the U.S. Senate and narrowly lost to Senator Elisa Slotkin, Democrat of Michigan, who also worked in both former President George Bush and former President Barack Obama's administration. On Tuesday, Peters announced in a social media post that he would not seek re-election, leaving a Senate seat open in Michigan for 2026. He said, "Serving Michigan in Congress has been the honor of my life. I'm forever grateful for the opportunity the people of my home state have given me," the two-term senator and former congressman wrote. Former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is reportedly taking a serious look at throwing his hat in the ring, according to Axios. Pete is exploring all the options on how he can be helpful and continue to serve a person close to Buttigieg, told Axios. Prior to becoming a player on the national stage, Buttigieg served as mayor of South Bend, Indiana. In 2022, Buttigieg announced his family's plan to move to his husband's home in the state of Michigan. Moving to Chasten's hometown of Traverse City allowed them to be closer to his parents, which became especially important to them after they adopted their twins, often relying on Chasten's parents for help with childcare. A spokesperson for then Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg told The Hill at the time. In 2026, Michigan voters will face two major choices: selecting a new senator and a new governor, as Governor Gretchen Whitmer is not eligible to run again due to the state's term limits. She cannot run for a consecutive third term. Whitmer was first elected in 2018, then re-elected in 2022. Her current term will end on January 1st, 2027. So a lot going on here. A potential Buttigieg versus Mike Rogers matchup is very conceivable, and right now probably is the odds-on favorite to be the most likely matchup at this time. As for Rogers' full statement, it reads here, "I've spent the last 2 years traveling across Michigan with the support of President Trump and millions of voters. What I learned more than anything is that hardworking Michiganders deserve strong and honest representation that will have President Trump's back. Since receiving more votes than any other Republican candidate that has ever run for Senate in Michigan, the tremendous outpouring of support and encouragement I've received since November proves that our mission to send a real fighter to the U.S. Senate has just begun. That's why Christie and I are strongly considering joining the fight once again to be the ally that President Trump needs and the leader that Michigan deserves. Good news is coming soon, Mike Rogers." So, just to give you an overall look on this race right now, on the Democratic side, there's no shortage of potential candidates. 3 have made clear indications that they're considering this. One is Sarah Anthony, a state senator from the 21st District. Pete Buttigieg, obviously former U.S. Secretary of Transportation and presidential candidate in 2020, mayor of South Bend. Another state senator, Mallory McMorrow, has also expressed interest. There are a lot of other people who could express interest as well, including Abdul El Sayed, Garland Gilchrist, Kristen McDonald-Rivette, Dana Nessel, Hillary Schulten, Haley Stevens, Rashida Tlaib, Matt Sarr, and I'm sure there are many, many more as well. We do know for a fact, in addition to Gary Peters not running, neither is Debbie Dingell, Sri Thanador, or Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who she was my first thought of someone that could replace this seat. She will not be running for the seat, likely having eyes for the 2028 presidential race. On the Republican side, now Mike Rogers has expressed interest. There are two other candidates who have expressed interest, including Kevin Rink, a former car dealer and candidate for governor in 2022, and a familiar name, Tudor Dixon, who is a conservative media personality, and she was the Republican nominee for governor in 2022. So there is the potential that maybe Dixon and Rogers both decide to run for the Senate seat and sets up a pretty competitive Republican primary between the Republican who just won the nominee for Senate in 2024 and Tudor Dixon, who's the Republican nominee for governor in 2022. I believe President Trump endorsed both of them in their respective primaries, so that would be setting up a very interesting fight. Like on the Democratic side, though, there are lots of other potential Republicans in Michigan who could run. Perry Johnson and Lisa McClain have both ruled out running, but a lot of familiar names here, a lot of congressmen or former congressmen across the state of Michigan. Former Attorney General Mike Cox could run as well. Tony Dungy, the former head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, is mentioned. That'd be very interesting. Brian Cayley, former lieutenant governor. So there's a lot of choices on the Republican side. None of them that are super well known for name recognition side of things, though. Like, for instance, and you're comparing Pete Buttigieg, that's a high-profile name that a lot of people will know. The Republicans don't really have that. So Mike Rogers may honestly be the most well-known Republican in the state of Michigan, and that comes from just narrowly losing a Senate race in 2024, which I'll pull up now. This Senate race, the Democrat was an open race. Elisa Slotkin won with 48.6%. Republican Mike Rogers got 48.3%. Libertarian candidate Joseph Solis Mullen got 1%, playing spoiler here. It was a very close race, under 20,000 vote difference. And if you're Mike Rogers, I understand seeing this map and being very frustrated, thinking that, okay, well, if I run again, I only lost by 0.3%, I would have a realistic shot at winning. And I totally understand that, and I think that's why he came to the conclusion that he did about running for this seat. Another thing is, a lot of discussion I've seen online involves the Republican bench in Michigan either not being very deep or not very well known. And that, I think, is another thing that could factor into the decision why Mike Rogers might be running again, is aside from Tudor Dixon or maybe if John James decides to run, Rogers is not really facing much well-known competition that has been in the public eye in a long time. For instance, Mike Cox is the former Attorney General. He's been out of office since 2011. Brian Cayley, the former Lieutenant Governor, has been out of office since 2019. John James is probably the best Republican candidate, and he lost 2 Senate races, I believe, in 2018 and 2020, and he would probably be the most formidable challenger to Mike Rogers. Tudor Dixon would probably be Rogers' second most formidable opponent. She just lost the governor's race in 2022, but Mike Rogers came a lot closer to winning than she did based on the numbers. So it's a very interesting situation, and definitely one I want to see how it develops, because it may be Rogers' primary to lose depending on who actually declares on the Republican side. As for the race itself right now, I'm going to clear this out really quick because this is what I had my last prediction, but I think there's about 4 to 5 Senate races that are going to be really competitive in 2026. As for the state of Michigan right now, I would have it starting out, it was 0.3% in 2024. Michigan, I'm probably starting it out as tilt Democrat right now, which would be just under 1% margin of victory. I do think, though, even though the midterms are supposed to be more beneficial for the Democrats, I do think Michigan starts out under 1% due to the fact it was very, very close and under 1% in 2024. But I think if it is going to move in any direction, I would argue it would probably be moving more Democrat than Republican, maybe even up to lean Democrat, but I think it would start out as tilt Democrat. But this is going to be a very close race, and this news about Mike Rogers is certainly very interesting and something we have to monitor, because this is going to be one of the most hotly contested Senate races in 2026, so I'm very interested to see how this goes. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like and click subscribe, share with your friends and family. Remember to keep coming back because I post a new video every single day, so make sure you do that. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in a future video. That will do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like. And if you really liked it, please remember to click the subscribe button.
And make sure you turn post notifications on so you always get notified when I post a new video. That way you never miss one. Also, please remember to share this video with your friends and family if you really like the video. And remember to stay tuned because I'll be posting at least one video every single day leading up until Election Day. So I'd really appreciate it if you keep coming back and watching those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.